Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with our final best of two series of the night for our WPC Ace coverage on this fine, what's today, Saturday? Saturday morning? Saturday evening? Where are you in the world? At 4:26, I guess one could say. CIS versus DT. Team Dreamtime coming up next. I'm Zyori, and joining me once again is Slesh. What's the good word, pal?
I hope everything's fine with my audio settings.
Yeah, you actually sound a little bit better.
I do? Okay, that's good. That's a positive thing, I suppose. Yeah, I'm running everything over my laptop now, so everything should be fine. People should be able to hear me in-game as well. Do tell me in the chat if I need to fix something or if it's bad or anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll try to set it correctly, but I think, as it seems, everything should be fine.
Yep. So CIS versus DT. And you know what? Are there bets for this game? Let's take a look. Dota 2 Lounge. What's the good word? The early bird gets the worm. And DT versus CIS. Okay, 61% in favor of DT. This might be a value bet. I don't know. I think that's selling CIS a little bit short, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I think both teams are kind of, in a way, they're polar opposites because DT tends to win the game in the late game and by making good strategic decisions, but they rarely make flashy individual plays, while CIS is like the exact opposite. Like CIS tends to have some really good individual plays, but sometimes their decision making just falls short. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. They're both, I suppose, considered tier 2 teams, but then again, it's kind of difficult to break into the big names of the Chinese Dota scene since you have to constantly play against them, and if you're just losing every single time, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think it's fair to call both of these teams tier 2 Chinese teams. They're really good, but they're not quite on that same level as CIS did 2-0 Newbie the other day, but they're not quite on that DK IG level, like you were saying. It can be rough to find that practice. That's one of the things I don't like about the Gosu Gamers standings, is that it doesn't really take into account how difficult your opponents are that you play. It shows like the team's win percentages with the little statistics before they show the matchups, and the numbers are pretty meaningless. If you look at a team like Tongfu, who has like a 17 or 23% win rate, you'd think they're terrible, but they're actually one of the better teams in the world because they play against some of the best competition in the world. So even though they don't win a large percentage of the time, that doesn't necessarily, it just feels like a misrepresentation of the numbers a little bit. But I was really excited to see, I don't know if you have the WPC stream open, but Black is back with his polychromatic hat. And that was actually, that was the good luck charm they had going up against Newbie when they had that big upset 2-0 series. So I remember it quite vividly, and I'm a big fan. Very stylish.
Well, let's hope that he's going to do fine this time as well. So with the hat, the lucky hat. But draft coming out there from both teams. No surprises. Once again, Like Immune banned, Invoker, Batrider, those are all standard bans. Lifestealer now banned out as well, and the picks as well. Nothing out of the ordinary. So
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nature's Prophet was first picked by Dreamtime. Centaur and Ancient Apparition first picked by CIS, so two pretty potent heroes. It's interesting to observe that there are some teams, I've noticed Newbie and IG in particular in the East, really hate the Centaur. They burn one of their first bans on the Centaur pretty much every game. And a lot of these other teams are a little bit less afraid. They let him sneak by, and I wonder. I don't know. I just wonder. How do you value that Centaur? For you, is he a first ban kind of hero, or would you not mind so much if he snuck on by?
He's been immensely popular. My personal take on the hero has been, I've been advocating the hero for a long time, even before he became so popular, simply because of his long duration stun, and then he got Stampede as well, which is kind of ridiculous. So, I felt that he's a very, very strong hero. So. But nowadays, I don't know. I think he's a bit overpicked, maybe at times. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to agree that he's overpicked, but at the same time, he's pretty damn good. I think he is the best offlaner right now. I think he takes the cake. He's got great initiation. His burst damage is ridiculous. I think Double Edge is not quite, I don't want to say it's imbalanced, but I don't think that allowing him to do 400 damage, which is huge for just a single target ability that has a small AoE. Just because he does the damage to himself doesn't really make it fair. Centaur is so tanky that it's kind of ridiculous how much damage he can put out, and then the global presence with Stampede as an initiation tool and a defensive tool. I see why teams like him. He's pretty freaking ridiculous.
He's great. I mean, yeah, I am very close friends with Solon from Monomaniac. And it's a team that has been kind of making quite a few waves recently. So I'm very happy for them. Shout out to the Monomaniac boys for listening in. That they're doing great. I mean, they 2-0'd Fnatic, and last night, they lost 1-3 against Rock's Kiss in the Fractite Masters final, which is a shame, but they're performing quite well. And yeah, Solon is also like Centaur quite a lot. But yeah, it's I think as you said, he's a very strong hero. He is simply because nowadays teams don't really run a killing trident that hard anymore. So melee offlaners just do not get punished that much. But I think like maybe people should, if Centaur is just a prevalent pick, maybe people just start picking killing tridents again. I don't know, like Shadow Demon, Mirana, Dazzle or something, which is stupidly good. But,
yeah, and Centaur, he's also a decent flex pick because I think he's a little bit underrated in the tri-lane role. Like if you do a Shadow Demon, Dazzle, Centaur tri-lane, do you know how ridiculous that is? Easiest hoof stomps of your life. So much burst damage. It's absurd.
Yeah, he deals a shit out of that. Well, that was not particularly smart, and probably that didn't sound very well either. So.
Oh god, it was more like I took a sip of coffee right as it happened, so I was trying harder not to spit my coffee all over my mic rather than anything else. But glad to hear everything's okay. It sounds fine now.
No, it's fine. It's just I don't know. I'm currently in a bit of a cramped up space. So I'm just knocking everything and knocking over glasses and everything.
Got too excited and just smacked the mic around a little bit.
Yeah, like a boss. So.
Happens to the best of us.
I know.
CIS third pick themselves the Mirana. They get the Priestess of the Moon. And they may be gearing up for some sort of scary tri-lane. They could grab a Shadow Demon or perhaps a Rubik here. Oh, no. DT already picked up Rubik, pardon me. Something like a Shadow Demon for some setup, some arrows, and then have a 3 ranged tri-lane. Pretty scary with that Chilling Touch. But DT, they'll just they'll pick up the Wisp. Third pick Wisp. Very interesting, and we'll see what they do with it.
It's kind of obvious what the next pick's going to be, right?
Well, probably. It is a Wraith King for CIS, though. So, probably, well, still not particularly telling. It could be a mid Mirana, and then they could grab another support for the Wraith King. But could be a support Wraith King, could be support Mirana. This is sort of a hard draft to read from CIS. Rather flexible. And there's your Tiny coming out from DT.
Yeah, I mean, if you pick your Wisp at this stage of the game and Tiny isn't banned out, and you don't want to pick up Tiny yourself, it's kind of obvious what's going to happen. So, Super, one of the drafter for DT, one of the few players who actually still values Wisp quite a lot in the Chinese scene, and he plays it quite often. I mean, he mostly plays Visage as well as IO, so Visage sort of a bit of a respect banner, I suppose. While CIS, the Wraith King pick is not really a surprise, because they were they made really big waves by defeating Newbie with it. By picking Wraith King when he really wasn't popular as a carry most of the time. Yeah. And then having Sniper mid and stuff like that. Like they defeated Newbie twice in a row with that kind of draft. And then everybody was like, oh my god. How does that work?
I remember that. I casted it, and it was a little funky. But I'm still not completely sold on the Wraith King. I haven't seen him enough games to really have a good sample, but it feels to me like Wraith King is one of those heroes that there are games that he wins convincingly, but I'm not convinced that those games are really because of Wraith King. I think a lot of the time it's just they dominated the other lanes, they have him free farming, and pretty much any other carry could do the same thing that the Wraith King was doing. You know, it's kind of... I haven't seen him enough, and most of the games I've seen him in have been rather one-sided, where either the Wraith King destroys people or he gets destroyed himself and they lose rather early. So we'll see how it works for him here. Puck will be the final pickup for CIS, so they'll have a Fairy Dragon headed to the mid lane, and it looks like it will be a tri-lane with the Wraith King, Mirana, and Ancient Apparition. Still not sure who the support and who the carry is, but I imagine it's probably a carry Wraith King. That seems to be the style that CIS prefer. Now,
Yeah.
DT with their final pick, they did ban out the OD, and woohoo, it's the Brewmaster.
Yeah,
So
it's good to see the hero again. I mean, he got buffed once again. He's a good hero. He's pretty cool. So I'm a big fan that they picked him up, and at least seeing some screen time for him.
yeah,
It's certainly a positive thing. And at the same time, though, it's AO's Mirana is still very kind of famous as well. Like support Mirana is something that CIS we're running a lot as well. But I think the surprise factor is gone now. Everybody knows that they do it. So
mm-hmm.
I think they should be more aware about the errors than they were the first time. And when I don't know which team it was it UB who was facing CIS? I think it was the same game. Wraith King, Mirana support, Sniper mid. Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the
I think
game.
it was the same game. Yeah, and AO was like completely destroying UB with his arrows. But I think nowadays everybody knows that he's doing it, so they should be more careful.
I've been casting too much Dota. All the games run together. Especially a lot of these Chinese games, like I'm still new to the Eastern meta a little bit. I've been casting it kind of exclusively for the past 2.5 weeks, so I'm getting a handle on it pretty quickly. But I don't know, just learning all the new players' names and the different play styles and pick styles and stuff. They all run together pretty quickly. I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah, like last year there was a very limited number of tournaments for these tier 2 teams. You basically always saw the same teams all over again, who were also quite stable. So you had IG, LGD, VG, and DK. They were like the big four, and there was nobody else. Like you very rarely saw a tournament where there were some other teams, or if they were, then you kind of ignored them because they didn't feature regularly. They weren't particularly good. They never took a game off the big ones. So yeah, but this time around we have a lot of talent kind of pouring in once again, I suppose. The Chinese scene has always been a bit slow to adapt, and many players still play Dota 1. But now with the influx of Dota 2 in China, I think more and more teams are picking up. It would be good for the scene at least if we see one of the amateur teams kind of succeeding. I don't think they're going to win the tournament, but they can still get far and try to. Yeah, I mean DT is also a team that on their good days they can beat the big teams, the big teams kind of need to have an off day for that to happen though.
Yeah, man, this Nature's Prophet, man. I'm looking at his set. He looks so tiny or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is about these cosmetics, but he looks too... It's like this little satchel that he's got. The uncommon toga. Yeah, that's what it is that I can't get over. Nature's Prophet in a toga. And I don't know. How did that get into the game? I don't see how that really fits with his lore. Oh, God. Yeah, the cosmetics.
It's a bit obnoxious. Yeah.
Conversation for another day. Watching him run, he looks like... I don't know. He looks like something, but I can't quite place it. I don't know. I don't know what it is that I see in him, but with the boots, and he's just... I don't know. He looks like Inspector Gadget or something. Like Inspector Gadget wearing a toga with a beard. Anyway, let's talk about these teams. We've got Game 1 of this Best of 2 series. CIS will be on our dire side, and we will have June playing on a Position 1 Wraith King here in the off lane. It will be AO on the support Mirana, and they will be joined by Demons playing on the Ancient Apparition. That leaves us with Black, the man with the hat, playing on the solo mid Fairy Dragon, and up in the top lane, it will be Inflame on the solo Centaur War Runner.
That's a lot of regen on the Centaur. Holy crap.
10 tangos and a salve. Jesus.
Just in case it's not enough, you know? we could actually do the math here. Like health restored 115, so he has enough to regen 1,150 health.
Alright, well that's a good bit of harass he can take, so...
I suppose.
On the Radiant side, we've got Dreamtime, and Black maybe in some trouble already. It will be Tony. He's in the mid. He's here with his buddy Wisp. It's going to be Super on the Wisp. He'll be supporting XDD on Tiny Tony. That means up top, it will be a duo lane. It will not be a solo mid Brewmaster, but it will be Air taking the helm on that one. Rubik, he's getting low, does telekinesis back. Inflame, and actually now Inflame in a little bit of trouble. He'll get path blocked. They won't have enough to finish him off, but... Do you know who this is playing on the Rubik? I don't know how to read those symbols.
Well, I can't actually see them. I can't actually see the symbols.
Oh, they're just they're like little squiggly lines. In July will be on the Nature's Prophet. Who's the one that we're missing? Do you know the DT roster by heart?
DT, let me think. They are missing another support player.
Yeah.
Who's the other support?
The other support that isn't super.
Yeah. exactly, super subjective, so I kind of knew, oh my god, this is kind of embarrassing. I gotta have to look it
Don't
up.
worry,
Hold on.
I'll look it up. I got this. I'm good at multitasking. DT Club, yeah, that's them. It is Dreamy You. Does that sound right?
Oh yeah, Dreaming You, yeah.
Dreamy
Yeah.
You. There you go. Well done. That was a team effort, kind of. But
Yeah, he does play Ruby quite often actually, and he likes to play support Alchemist as well.
yeah.
I know his Chinese nickname is like couldn't really put my finger on it. The thing is, I can't see is he actually tagged up with Chinese characters or?
I don't think that. I mean, they might be Chinese characters. It looks like a backwards L and then a diagonal upside down L.
No. Those are not Chinese characters, man. This is just a bracket. I was just thinking maybe it's because of my laptop not having the language program that he's tagged up like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about these lanes a little bit. It is a duo lane mid, the Tiny Wisp. Pretty common when you see Tiny Wisp to put them mid. Sometimes you do a safe lane, kind of tri-lane with the Tiny, but doing this duo lane is a good way to catch solo mids off guard, and Black is handling this pretty darn well. Some harassment has come his way, but he's used his orb effectively. He is 9-0 in CS compared to the 11-1 Tiny, so he's holding his own, and Demons on this Ancient Apparition has rotated over to help out his buddy Puck and make his life a little bit easier. And it seems to be going pretty well so far. In the bottom lane, we do have June as our last hit leader, and the support Mirana seems to be zoning out these heroes pretty effectively. In July, he is in the solo safe lane, but yeah, not much he can do.
He was actually jungling for quite some time, and he just ported back down bottom just in case they were going to push the tower. He needs to be very careful, though. They can dive in really easily with the amount of creeps that they have. And he doesn't have trends up. He doesn't have the mana for it.
Yep, already the bottom tower taking a little bit of chip damage. I'll be curious to see what Wraith King does in terms of item choices
nice
this game.
Toss there. He actually tosses demons back there. This might be our first blood.
Yeah, it certainly is.
It's gonna be. That was some big play there by XTD.
I actually caught part of it. I caught the tail end of the toss. Black off the mark with the illusory orb, and now he's going to have to retreat. Tiny has his rotation up and getting a little bit of mana from that tether. Oh, man.
That was some really good play there by XCD. He went in with the Avalanche and then tossed the A back to the quick play. It's actually not that easy to pull off, but he did it perfectly.
Yeah. It is kind of hard. You got to position yourself pretty much perfectly to toss an isolated unit like that when there's other creeps around. Wisp will go up and grab the invisibility rune at the top position that spawned at the 4-minute mark. And XDD actually takes a fair bit of harass. But
it's going to be fine. I mean, Wisp still has bottle charges, and he himself still had a self, so it's fine. It was overall, I think, are they going to go again?
Yeah. Not enough for a kill on Black, but some pretty solid harass.
Some harassment.
Yeah, still takes him down all the way. And Black has an empty bottle. Rune control has gone the way of DT. So not an easy time for Puck. In the top lane, Inflame is in some trouble. He gets telekinesed back. Air has already dropped the hammer with that Thunderclap. No point in Drunken Haze. Actually going 2 points in the Drunken Brawler, which is a little bit interesting. I always look at that ability as a mega value point in the early levels. And I feel like Drunken Haze is worth that first point just for the mischance alone. The slow is nice for chasing people down, but 45% mischance for 8 seconds is absurd.
Well, I suppose people just don't like the additional mana cost. Brewmaster has a small mana pool as it is.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people, since Blink doesn't have any mana cost, people tend to not get the Arcane Boots on Brewmaster anymore, so you don't really have the mana to support both spells.
And as you say that, he picks up Arcane Boots.
And as I say that, he actually goes Arcane Boots, so it's fine. Like, I think if you go Arcane Boots, you should really put the point in it. Yeah. If you decide not to, then I'm totally fine with not skilling it. Since he goes Arcane Boots, he has the mana pool to support it. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough. He certainly is a hero with mana issues, but DT
Black, once again, the damage that it does. Is he going to jaunt? Yeah, he is. And the toss is not going to finish him off.
Up top, though, Inflame taking heavy damage, but Mirana's nearby. They'll pick up a kill on Rubik. In July, he TP's up. That secures this kill onto Centaur, and he pops his Stampede. AO caught in the Sprout, but just leaps over the tree line, and we'll be just fine. So it is a 1-for-1 in the top. Centaur for Rubik. That will make it 2-1 here as we cross the 6-minute mark as a regeneration rune. Spall is in the bottom position, and a Treant will scout it out for that Wisp to secure Wraith Knight. He's actually inbound. It'll be a race for the rune, but he won't go for it. Now, DT have completely sacked this bottom lane. Nature's Prophet has started moving around, and June is in free farm mode. He's the last hit leader by a big margin, about to break 40. and pretty close to level 6. And even though Wraith King isn't the hardest of carries, still a scary notion to let him have absolute free control of the lane. Black in the mid lane will get off the orb, and well done. Handling himself very well against this aggressive mid lane.
It's still annoying, though. they can just do it so often.
It's annoying, but he has 24 CS. I mean, he's barely even struggling. Air up top. He gets initiated on now. And, yeah, Inflame and AO, they've got more than enough damage. They'll secure that kill onto Brew. But, I mean, it's not only that it's annoying for Black, but his CS is just damn impressive, I think. Rubik will smoke up. There's the telekinesis. This may be the end of him, though. Yeah, more than enough damage comes out. Wisp actually snakes the last hit for the kill, but Tiny does the bulk of the damage there.
Yeah. That's fine, and both of them are going to be in full HP soon enough. Like, Wisp just needs to pop overcharge and then model up, tether, it's fine. And Tiny's going to be okay as well. Like, Air dying on the top lane is kind of annoying though, because you do want the Brewmaster to get a lot of farm. Bot lane, the Wraith King just doesn't care. He went Midas since he's completely uncontested, as he said, so no one does pressure him.
Arrow hits in July as he TPs into the mid lane. They will pressure this tier 1 tower, but a TP comes in from June. He's finally going to join the battle. Like you said, only a hand of Midas and brown boots, so he doesn't really offer too much, but he'll join the party and help fend off this push. Meanwhile, on the top...
Once again, they're going to go. Are they going to pop the ultimate?
Will they have the damage here? It looks like they will. The Brew...
Oh, that's an unfortunate stampede there. That's unfortunate.
But the Moonlight Shadow, they don't have detection.
Yeah, that is annoying. Is Inflame still gonna go? No, I don't think he's gonna catch him.
Oh,
I don't think Air's gonna die as well, he's too tanky. But...
Just connects with a hoof stomp, yeah, just harassing a little bit. But great teamwork from CIS. That Moonlight Shadow comes in handy. You need that detection to deal with Mirana early on. Moonlight Shadow is pretty darn useful.
The biggest problem was simply because of the kill they had on top lane, Mirana popped level 6. Normally you don't see a support hero that with such high early game level, so... But yeah, AO popped 6 on the kill, so he could easily just use Moonlight Shadow to get his team bailed out.
Wraith King still just racking up the farm. Number 1 on net worth as that Hand of Midas starts to kick in, just about to break 4K with another creep rotation. Now, Brewmaster is doing okay. 2.4K, he's right middle of the pack. He's about on par with the Centaur, but I think of Brewmaster as a very snowbally hero. This is that point in the game where his ultimate does a lot of damage. He can secure kills with it, and he just needs items. He needs a Blink, probably needs an Ag Scepter, and until he has those core items, he's not super scary, and based on the fact that he's already been picked off once, I worry a little bit that Air won't have as big of an impact as he would have if he was in more of a solo mid kind of driver's seat role this game.
I suppose he just didn't want to lane against the Puck, so that's why they sent the dual lane. But the thing is, they were supposed to win two out of the 3 lanes with the dual lanes, but they completely abandoned bot lane, so Wraith King was against nobody. And mid lane, they kind of won, I suppose, because they got 1 kill. Once again, very nice phase shift here by Black, but oh my god, the Nature's Breath.
Yep.
Completely finishing off there.
Meanwhile, up top, Air gets initiated on once again in Flame. He'll finish him up.
That was pretty ballsy there to use a double edge. Rubik was still nearby.
Yeah. Man, even Wraith King still got credit for the kill, so it wasn't even enough to snipe the last hit. Glyph comes out in the mid, and just great coordination from DT right there, utilizing the global aspect of the Nature's Prophet with the burst from Tiny Wisp. Black, I think, still handling himself pretty well, but he is starting to fall behind now. 2.2 on the net worth chart. He is the lowest hero in terms of farm that isn't a support. So these kills are definitely setting him back. 32 CS, but 0, 2, and 0 here at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, it's just annoying for him that normally you pick Puck as a tempo controller, but yeah, he's not doing anything. He's completely underfarmed, he's underleveled, so...
Yeah, and now in the mid, they'll go on to Tiny. Dream Coil comes out from Puck, only connects onto the Wisp. They should have enough damage to finish off XDD. Yeah, they certainly do. Wisp will relocate out, but of course that means he's coming back. Will he bring a friend with him? No.
I don't think so. He's just coming back to die.
He'll just regenerate up, and sorry, Super, but... Oh, June taking pretty heavy damage. Rubik was inbound, and he was there to tether a buddy. And Super actually survives. They don't jump on him. Nicely done. CIS just took a little too much damage, and they have to back out.
Yeah, that was well done, but still, I'm not quite sure why he didn't use relocate beforehand. I mean, when they went on the Tiny, you could have just relocated instantly and then pulled him out. But he only used relocate when Tiny was basically already dead. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a mana issue. I can't really think of too much else, or just a slip of the finger.
Yeah, possibly. I think he just misclicked or something. Or failed to click in the case.
Failed to click, yeah. Not quite a misclick, but an error in judgment, I suppose we'll call it. So things still looking good, really, on both sides. We've got a pretty even game in our hands. CIS do have an experience edge, but the gold graph is just about zeroed out. Inflame on the Centaur with 1,700 gold. He's not too far off the mark of his Blink Dagger. Marana and Demons, they're doing okay as supports. They've got their boots. Nothing too crazy about it. Wraith King, his Midas, well, it's kicked in, but hasn't made any real item progression. Just power treads for now. He is Moonlight Shadowed, but DT, they're going to drop the hammer. They've got a Dust. He'll get Telekinesis, but wow, they actually won't dive it. A TP comes in from Inflame, and they will back out. Stampede's used. Wraithfire Blast onto the Rubik, but in comes Air. That procs the ultimate, the reincarnation. June comes back to life. Inflame taking a lot of damage, trying to make it back, but the Brew Illusions, one more, throws the barrel. That'll be enough to secure that kill. Meanwhile, back near the tower, Wraith King does secure the deny. DT pressing forward. They want another kill. They'll find it on the Ancient Apparition. They'll make it a 2-0, as well as grab a tower kill to start things off. Now Black jaunts to the orb, but a little bit of a close call.
Oh, they're going to relocate in, actually. They're searching for him.
It's
actually, it's just a wisp.
Yeah, it's just super relocating. He'll find him, but uh-oh. In the mid, XDD, he'll get initiated on. It's June now that'll find the initiation. The combo comes out from the Tiny. Arrow with plenty of damage. They'll finish off Black as well as he rejoins the party. Oh no, it's a 4-0 and a tower exchange. DT getting a huge burst of momentum there. I'm not sure why Black went back in. He was safe.
Yeah, he tried to Illusion Orb out, but he had an Urn shot on him. He ticked down to the Urn damage in the end, so it was kind of awkward for him. The Wisp sort of solo killed him.
Yeah, that was far from ideal for CIS. Now all of a sudden, tongue-tied. Now all of a sudden, it was a 0 gold graph kind of a game, and now a 3,000 gold lead for DT, and they've got a minor experience edge, but climbing back that deficit. And good news for the Nature's Prophet, he has Hand of Midas now, so they do have at least one big farming tool, and Tiny, he's made a huge burst of momentum as well. He's almost #1 on net worth. He has the point booster, well on his way to the Ag Scepter. And there's another tower kill. Tiny gets the last hit, utilizing that toss. So boy, have the tides turned in the last 3 minutes or so.
Yeah, that was pretty huge. You really don't want a team like DTs to get ahead. I mean, Tiny Wisp getting ahead is just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. There's your Blink Dagger on Centaur. So, Inflame still finding a little bit of farm, more initiation power. I think Black is still a ways off his Blink. Yeah, only 1,100 gold. Up top, initiation just about to break out. XDD coming around the backside. Air blinks forward. He's picked up his Blink Dagger now, but he'll get punished. They'll drop him right away.
Oh, that crit.
Oh, wow.
If he didn't crit there, he would have gotten his ultimate off. But yeah, that was a 274 damage crit from June. That was so unfortunate though for Air.
15% chance. Yep.
He's got 4 points in the Drunken Brawler, so he might have evaded that hit as well, but no, the crit lands, so...
Yeah.
Arrow is gonna catch XDD, but I really don't think... Does he have relocate? Yeah, he has got relocate, but very nice blink up there by Inflame to prevent it.
But Tiny putting out a lot of return damage. Telekinesis from the Rubik. That'll be a relocate back. He leaves the Tiny behind, and no kill will come out on either side. A close call. Ao almost gets comboed down, but will be able to leap back to safety when it's all said and done. Wow.
In the end, once again, it was a bit of a misplay to not take the Tiny back with him. I mean, just to be safe, but still, it worked out in the end, so I suppose it's fine.
Yeah. So everyone will go back to farming here. Nature's Prophet has taken over the seat as the #1 farmer. He'll just go straight into a Necro Book, Staff of Wizardry, Belt of Strength, already in the inventory and sitting on about 2k gold. This may even be his Necro Book level 1 right here if he opts to pick it up. And there it is. DT smoked up in the bottom lane. Wisp very close to mech. He's got the 2 core pieces, just trying to pull up gold for that recipe. Still a ways off the recipe, but very farmed for a Wisp. That's kind of what I was getting at there. Especially if you compare it to the supports on CIS. Ancient Apparition in triple digits of net worth right now. Meanwhile, Wisp has 4,000. That is a huge disparity.
It is. I mean, he hasn't died yet, and he's participated in 6 cures, of which he got 3 of them, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep, Wisp 303. Wow. There's the glyph on the Dire. Treants, Necro units. Not that the Necro 1 units are really that scary, but just still, every little bit helps. And now that they forced out the glyph, they can just push at any time that they want. Tiny throws a toss as they back out, but DT, they play this very cautiously. They don't overcommit. Super bottles up this double damage rune, and they'll just start pressuring the other lanes and go back to farming.
They have no need to completely force stuff like that, because they just have a superior late game. Once again, Tiny Wisp just easily outcarries anything that CIS can throw them.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiny Wisp outcarried the freaking Morphlin, so you can outcarry a Wraith King quite handily, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just, I mean, Brew, he scales pretty well with items into the late game, and the Nature's Prophet. He's so far ahead already that he'll definitely scale well as kind of a core damage dealer.
Yeah, the biggest problem for CIS is, you know, the blink dagger on Puck is really slow. He kind of rushed it, Boots Bottle, and then going for a straight blink. And that's a huge problem that Black just was completely taken out of the fight. Yeah. He's CSing well, but he still died 3 times. So
yeah, it seemed like he really was doing a great job in the mid lane, but that first death I think was okay. The second death is what really slowed him up, because after that second one, he lost his lane presence, and then he had to kind of stop farming, and that's where his creep score really started to slow down. So maybe needed a little bit more support. Maybe they should have tried to pull a rotation earlier, but their options were limited, and of course the mindset was, well, we'll just let our Wraith King free farm away, so it's kind of worth it. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Dreamtime will group up and make another pushing effort. They will just throw units into the tower. It will get pushed into deny range. Necro units, only one still alive. It does get denied by the Wraith King. Nicely done by June. But still, another tier 2 tower falls. That will make the total tower count 4-0 in favor of Dreamtime. And that's part of that huge disparity across the support. 7,500 gold, only 1,200 experience, but DT in control of this game right now. There's your first core item on the Wraith King. It'll be an armlet.
I think normally if they get ahead and are fighting early, he tends to get a blink very fast. But now they realize they need some physical DPS, they need some damage. I mean, Puck just doesn't deal enough. Centaur, Puck, AA combo is enough to burst one hero, but in a sustained team fight, they really need more.
Yep. And Tiny is super close to that Ag Scepter. He's 2 creep kills away from that Blade of Alacrity. And that is really when Tiny comes online. That's basically like his Battle Fury. He starts cleaving, he hits harder, moves a little bit faster. He's just all around. Now, it actually doesn't make him move faster, but it makes him cleave, makes him do more damage, ups the toss damage. It just makes Tiny so ridiculous. And
it's actually better than a Battle Fury because the cleave is wider.
Yeah.
So a lot wider, I might add. And it does siege damage to towers.
Yes, pushing.
Just a better version.
Yeah, the movement speed just comes from the ultimate by itself. That's what I was thinking of.
Boy.
But here's the initiation as they come forward. They'll find June. Of course, he does have reincarnation. And will they actually be able to finish him off? No, that armlet toggling will keep him alive. Yeah, in July, in the front lines, they'll still finish him off. There's the reincarnation slow. Will they find any follow-up? Super, taking some damage from the Centaur. But Moonlight Shadow, it gets stolen by the Rubik. Oh, yeah. No.
That is such a good play there from the Rubik.
Yep, and now June, he'll get finished off by Tiny, and they just can't find any kills. A Dire Sentry does come down in the middle of the fight, but at the end of the day, it's just a solo kill on the Wraith King.
Wraith Fire Blast, so even more. This Rubik is playing so well. As I said, he likes to play the hero, and he's doing it wonderfully.
Ancient Apparition and Centaur, they all get cleaned up. Black, the only one left alive, and that's because he wasn't in the fight. Still has his Dream Coil available. And DT just completely wipe it up. And we might even see a fast game 1 here. CIS are falling pretty far behind. I mean,
they can't play from behind with that lineup.
Yeah, there is nothing slowing down DT right now. This tier 2 tower in the mid lane falls. There's your Ag Scepter on Tiny. He's already got another 1,500 gold to play with. Level 3 Necro Book and the mech complete. Blink Dagger, Ags on the way for Brewmaster. Doesn't have it yet, but he's got the Ogre Club. They'll just transition to this top tier 2 tower, and we'll see this gold graph just skyrocket in favor of the Radiant.
It's just, yeah, CIS's lineup, if they don't win early game, they're just not going to win the game. It's very simple. I mean, Mirana as a support hero is, and maxing Arrow, I think you can play Mirana as a support, but you shouldn't max Arrow, because what do you offer really? Your Arrow is not even going to hit 100%. And even if it does, you have 1 arrow and then you do 1, right click. So I'm not a big fan of the build that people tend to go for on a support Mirana. I still think you should go Starfall, even if you're a support Mirana. It's
Yeah.
like
The problem is
like
you run into mana issues, but I see where you're coming from, and I would tend to agree.
and you think you can go Arcane Boots. I mean, there's no way the team gets it. Arcane Boots is actually fine on Mirana. Most of their early game damage just comes from the spells. She doesn't right click that hard anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Arcane Boots are what he's after. The problem is he can't afford them here. Up top, Inflame will get initiated upon by Tiny and Wisp. He even burns the Stampede, but still won't be able to make it away, and DT will add another one to the board. That'll be 13-5 here as we pass the 22-minute mark, and Gold lead now over 12,000, and experience just about half that, 6,000 in the favor of Dreamtime. They're dreaming about a win here in game number 1, and they're not too far off the mark. June, his ultimate coming up in 2 seconds. Thought they may hop forward and try and burst him down. That would have been an unfortunate timing for the Wraith King, but nope. They'll just back out after doing a tiny bit of harassment to the tower. I think DT could just settle for a Roche pretty much any time now. And maybe they'll go ahead and rotate here now as Rubik comes down, throws down a sentry, gets a little bit of ward control. And, well, maybe they'll just take heed to my advice here, Slash.
Yeah, possibly. Tiny has got a Yasha incoming on the courier. I'm probably waiting for that one. I don't think they want to fight in the pit, because this is actually something that CIS want. They have an A ultimate, Puck, Dream Coil, Centaur Storm, so... But DT seems to feel just they're so far ahead that it doesn't matter anymore, so...
Yeah.
They're just still gonna force the fight. So yeah, I dare you to come.
I double dog dare ya. CIS on the high ground. Inflame actually does smoke up. A smart little play here. Uses that as a tool to see if they're about to initiate. And actually, DT will back out as they feel CIS posturing aggressively. Puck. What happened to Puck in the top lane? Was that just Necro units? Jesus.
Yep, that was regular Necro units. Kind of blows.
So let's
take.
take.
The DT are still going. I mean,
Yeah. Looking at Vision, CIS don't. Well, CIS know, but they don't have details. They'll chuck an arrow. That'll be their vision into the pit. Radiant side, they don't have much visionizer. Inflame, he hops forward, finishes off Brewmaster as he stampedes in. Roche still with plenty of hit points to relocate out from the Wisp. Rubik left behind, and he may die, but great relocate from the Wisp. He'll be going back in 3 seconds, forces out the Glyph. Will he bring the Tiny with him? Yes, he will. And how will this work out? Maybe he should have left the Tiny up top. I'm not so sure. I guess he didn't want to abandon him there with no escape vehicle, as Nature's Prophet can just TP out. So everyone will survive. They do crippling damage to the top tier 3, force out the Glyph, but it does stand, and Roche is still up. Was there a buyback that came out? I thought I heard the noise. Yeah, Brew will go ahead and buy back. Now they initiate forward onto June. Air wants to make this buyback worth it, but a double coil from Black. There's your ultimate from the Brew. Tiny gets picked off by the Puck. And I think that's where this fight will end. A pretty big kill coming out for CIS. And that was a dominating streak. So, wow, 550 gold going the way of Black's Fairy Dragon.
I think that was just weird. That decision to go into the Roche pit, I don't think that was a correct decision. The thought was to have Prophet split pushing and then forcing CIS to engage on either side, but CIS can instantly just burst down 2 heroes and then TP top to defend. So that was questionable, to say the least. I think that was like completely freaking stupid, but
yeah,
just giving CIS the possibility to fight back, because CIS, the Roshan terrain just favors them so much more.
Yeah, and now they're going to lose all of their ward coverage. CIS completely shut it down. They counter both observers that were down, and now they have an observer of their own, and still a whole minefield of sentries that DT will have to cut through before they'll feel safe putting wards down again in that general area. So that's good news for CIS. Roche is still at about half health. I mean, if DT wanted to be cheeky, they could try to just hop into the pit. But those cooldowns are just a little bit too short. Stampede's already back up, and Dream Coil will be up in 10 seconds. So CIS could just rinse and repeat and make it happen once again. DT could try and smoke into the pit as well. That wasn't very stealthy the way they went about it. If they had smoked in, that might have worked, but they just kind of wandered on, just like, all right, we're going to kill your wards. We're going to walk into Roche. Hopefully you don't contest.
Roche.
Yeah, like, I mean, it was just a very straightforward, no sneakiness about it, and kind of showing their confidence, I think, in this particular match.
Yeah, I didn't think that was that smart of a move. I think what they need is, if they can do the kind of move as Tiny has a BKB, I think they can do it. Because then CIS initiates Tiny Pop's BKB and just laughs at them, basically. They don't have any physical DPS apart from the Skeleton Kings, Wraith King. So Yeah, that's pretty sad. The rest of the stuff is just magic damage. You saw just Brewmaster, who is fairly tanky actually. I mean, he's got 1/6k HP, but he still got bursted down from full HP to 0. He didn't even get to pop his ultimate. Just blink, coast stomp, double edge, A ultimate, arrow, and he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he was already kind of weak, so that made Centaur's job a lot easier, but...
Yeah, it was taking the Roshan, so yeah, of course he was not completely full HP, but still, they have enough burst to do it. They have enough magic burst.
Yeah, so it looks like Demons is having some sort of a connection issue. Hopefully he can get back in here before too long.
Tactical pause, man. Puppy pause.
The puppy pause. Not really a great time for a tactical pause. I'm not sure what information they're going to discern from this, but...
No, they'll probably just, I don't know, just gather around and think about how are we going to beat the Tiny in the late game.
Yeah.
Which is really, I think the answer is really getting hexes. Just start hexing people and then kill them. Kill him while he's a pig. I suppose that's fine. Or a sheep or whatever. I don't know, what does, I think it's a pig, right? Yeah, it turns into a pig with hex.
It's a pig, yeah. The Lion Hex makes you into a frog. The Shadow Shaman Hex makes you into a chicken.
Yeah.
And the Scythe of Ice makes you a pig. For a long time, I thought it was just random, but then I noticed a pattern, because I'm a thinker. And
I suppose, yeah, I think the main reason why they're not using sheep is because of some copyright issues with Blizzard. I suppose they tended, I mean, people still call it sheep stick, but it doesn't actually exist anymore. I mean, you don't hex people into sheep.
Yeah, so. It's probably one of those things where Blizzard doesn't own the rights to sheeps, but like polymorph is not something that Blizzard owns the rights to either. That's just a like general kind of like wizard type thing, like the idea of a polymorph spell. But I guess like polymorph into a sheep is like oddly specific enough that Blizzard can claim that that's their, like they came up with that IP.
They changed so many things because of copyright issues.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, some of the things I'm okay with, like copyright issues, like Tauren Chieftain, for example. Tauren's that whole race was just completely made up by Blizzard. That is 100% WoW lore, right, or Warcraft lore, right there. So I'm okay with having to change Tauren Chieftain to some other ambiguous name, Elder Titan, big fat dipshit, whatever you want to call him.
Okay, that's not particularly nice.
But hey, I'm not a big Elder Titan fan. But you know.
Oh, okay. Well, I nearly hadn't noticed.
Some of the changes though are just a little too like. I mean, you have Obsidian Destroyer. Okay, I'm sort of okay with changing that one. But then it was just like Outworld. What was he before? He was like Outworld Dominator. Then he was the Oblivion Destructor. He went through like 3 or 4 different like awful names and.
He first was just Outworld Destroyer, and then they changed to Outworld Devourer. So
yeah, he's just forever OD. That's what I think of him. And like some of the other ones, like Wind Ranger. Like, come on, man. Like, what is Wind Runner? Where did Blizzard come up with Wind Runner? I've read a couple of WoW books.
Family. It's a family apparently. Alira Windrunner was one of
Wind Runner is a family name. Oh, that's
a family name. So.
That's hogwash. I don't know how I feel about that.
Alira Windrunner, on which the Dota hero was based, is actually in lore in Warcraft 3 Dota lore was supposed to be the younger sister of Sylvanas Windrunner, who's kind of a major character.
Oh yeah, Sylvanas' last name is Windrunner. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Sylvanas' last name is Windrunner.
Okay, you know what? I take that back. I'm now becoming on. You've just changed my mind, man. I think I'm okay with this Wind Ranger change. I completely forgot that was Sylvanas' last name. Holy shit!
Like I never played World of Warcraft, but I played Warcraft 3, so I kind of knew that.
Yeah. Outhouse decorator. Yeah,
I'm fine with it. I think Wind Ranger sounds a bit awful, but they did it to preserve the WR. Acronym, I suppose. Yeah,
I don't think there's another good alternative to keep her as close to Windrunner as possible. But we will have a resume here, so that is good news. Good news indeed. Back to the dodo. So where were we? Yes, CIS were struggling against DT here in the mid-game of our first match in this best-of-2 series. CIS will now get a little cheeky in the Roche Pit. They'll hop over the wall. June with that Blink Dagger he's picked up, and Black with his Blink Dagger. They'll just do a 2-man Roche. They'll try and be conspicuous about it. And I think this is going to work. DT, they've got no vision. They're not suspicious, and they have no easy way to scout it out. They don't have tree ants nearby.
That's pretty close, though. Look at the damage that June is taking.
Yeah.
It's actually not that easy. I mean, but they still managed to do it. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. Give him 3 lives. Oh. Oh, that's awkward position for Rubik to be in. I mean...
Yeah. So, I think they just had no idea they were in the Roche pit. But meanwhile, up top... This tier 3 tower taking some damage as more Necro units and Treants come in, and I think they'll finish this tower off. Yeah, they sure will. Puck secures the tower deny, but that's still a tier 3 tower down, and the Rat Dota of DP, I said DP, DT, proves rather successful. I don't know why I was thinking Death Prophet, Jesus. But, yeah, still worth it, not bad. Tier 3 for Roche, still in favor of CIS, I think, but in July now, all he has to do is keep it up, and Racks are up next.
CIS have actually managed to deny 3 towers, so that's actually pretty good. Imagine how the Gold Rock would look like if they actually didn't deny the 3 towers. It would be even worse, but still, it's a lot of map control gone. I mean, CIS have the Aegis, but it's on the Skeleton King and on Wraith King, so I think if he dies once already, he's gonna die the next 2 times very likely as well. I think DT, what they can do is just ignore the freaking guy and just kill the rest. So
yeah, and that's part of the problem. He doesn't really hit that hard. I mean, the armlet, yeah, it makes him a little scarier, but I don't know. Like Wraith King is just an odd hero. Like a lot of people say, just ignore him, and I don't know if you can just ignore him, but you certainly don't have to focus him first. And you kind of have to just you need somebody to keep him busy while your big damage dealers kind of zone out the rest of his team. But Moonlight Shadow, it appears that CIS will look for a fight in the top. AA Ultimate flies, but will be off the mark as Super and XDD are on the retreat. Arrow,
he's
no way Super surviving that one. Yeah, Poof Stomp into Arrow, Star Storm for good measure. And CIS will grab another kill on the board, and that's a pretty big streak, dominating streak. That was EO's first death of the game. He was forced 0-6, and that'll be his first death. Mirana gets a little bit of bonus gold, and she actually didn't go for Arcane Boots here. The support Mirana does go Power Treads.
Well, okay, I mean, suppose it's fine. Does A have? No, they actually don't have like single Arcane Boots on their team, but they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah. Now, in July, continuing to pressure the lanes using that level 3 Necro book. Now in the bottom lane to chip at this tier 3 tower, but In Flame and Black are in a position to confess.
Okay, well, that's one way to do things, I suppose.
Centaur! No, Centaur.
I was watching it. Were you catching it on camera as well?
I caught that on camera, and
that looked so stupid.
You know, it's one of those things that I want to say that was intentional because it was just so silly, but I don't think it was. I think it was just a total dirt moment of, oh yeah, let me just get the gold on these Necro units real quick. Like, what?
Yeah.
What was the plan?
It's a good idea to last hit a Necro winning unit who is going to explode with double edge. I mean, come on.
Oh, God.
You're just asking to die.
That was the funniest play I've seen in a long time. There are some weird things you can do with Centaur, like if you have an AA ult debuff on you and then you double edge to put yourself in the threshold, you can commit suicide. I've seen a couple cheeky Centaur plays, but that is the first time I've seen a Centaur just with a casual double edge on a level 3 Necro unit and just completely kill himself. He had a lot of hit points too. That's just ridiculous. A double Sprout comes out from in July up top.
Sprout there. Are they going to catch them? Yeah, I think
yeah.
so.
Oh, all that tiny double damage. They'll finish off June first, and there's the reincarnation. Still has the Aegis. He'll come back up. That means
just cyclone the guy. Seriously, just cyclone the Wraith King and kill the rest.
Yep. Now they're trying to do it. Stampede comes out, but Wraith King completely isolated. He'll be able to blink back. Now Centaur reinitiating. He'll catch air. Arrow flies in. Also catches air. His ultimate is down. He doesn't bring too much else to the table, but he'll take Puck down with him. They fall simultaneously. Now June, he's in the front lines, taking pretty heavy damage as well. That'll proc the Aegis. He's got one more life. Centaur still alive. Hoof Stomp onto Tiny. He gets tossed back in. So much AoE damage coming out, but they just can't finish him off. Wisp doing some serious work. He relocates out the Tiny. He barely keeps him alive, and he may bring him back with him. Tiny, will he break the tether? They're trying to heal up. No, they will break their link, and Wisp, he will play Sacrificial Lamb. Ruby 2's, he's nearby. They want to tether the buddy system. Oh, it's not going to work this time. They'll clear up the Wisp. But CIS actually take a decent team fight right there.
That was really good, actually. I think the main issue was DT was getting kited by the center ultimate so badly, and I think Brewmaster popped his ultimate prematurely, and he didn't do enough with it.
Yeah.
It's Air has a. I mean, they put a lot of emphasis on getting him farm with Blink, Arcane Boots, Aghanim's, but it's just not effective at the moment.
Yeah.
I think if they do it correctly, really, with the Sprout initiate that they had, they could just instantly burst on the puck, but they didn't do it. So that was a bit of a shame. Tiny's surviving is, of course, very, very good, and in that way, Aegis kind of paid off on this on Skeleton King. I was doubtful of it, but in the end, Skeleton King was the only one they could actually hit, so he did die.
Yeah, the way CIS positioned themselves is the Skeleton King was just completely isolated. He was like in the middle of the team up here. When he was Tornado, they wanted to ignore him, but the rest of his team was like way back here. There was just no way they could run through him to make it happen. So decent positioning.
Oh, in July he's gonna snipe the courier.
Oh, cheeky bastard. And there you go. Easy.
And you scroll out like a boss.
Easy courier kill. There you go. That is irritating. That's the best way to describe it. Just irritating.
It's always good if, like, you don't, at least there was nothing on the courier. Well, there was a smoke of deceit, so okay.
Nothing too much. But Puck actually did buy back in that last team fight as well. Black died and bought back, so it looked a little more convincing for CIS at the end, but just have to remember that it did cost them a little bit, and it did take Black a bit further away from his Scythe of Vice than he otherwise would be. Has an Ultimate Orb and 2,300 gold, so not too far away, but if he didn't buy back there, probably would just about have it. Wraith King got a huge boost in farm from that fight, though. He is now tangoing with the top of the net worth chart, and he'll have a Skull Basher to go with that Armlet and Blink Dagger, and oh, some initiation. Catches Tiny, but the follow-up won't be there. Arrow off the mark, and so will the Ice Blast.
Yeah, I think he's going to sell his Midas and go Abyssal Blade. No, never mind, he's not selling his Midas right now. But he nearly has enough gold for the Abyssal Blade on Skeleton King. So
yep.
I keep saying Skeleton King the whole time. It's a Wraith King, but yeah, just used to it, I suppose.
Yeah. And I see a confused gentleman in chat. It was supposed to be LGD versus IG tonight, but there was a change in the schedule, and now we do have CIS versus DT. It was a last-minute change, so I understand your confusion, my friend. I believe the IG-LGD match was rescheduled for like May 11th or something. They swapped the dates, so just an FYI, there were some schedule changes today. CIS versus DT was a last-minute change, and websites may not have had time to update their schedule accurately. So just fair warning, you are watching WPC. Everything is going according to plan. Well, at least the most recent plan, but you didn't get an updated copy of the blueprint. You missed the memo, and I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do to save you. You're forced to watch DT versus CIS, my friend.
Unfortunate for you. Who wants to cast two low-level teams? No, I'm joking. They're fine, actually. They're, as I said, they consistently take games off top teams. So.
Your sarcastic tone sounds exactly the same as your regular tone, which sort of adds to the humor, but makes it a bit jarring.
Casting with the cynic, because you just never know if he's serious about it or not.
Yeah.
Like, would you believe me if I told you something really ridiculous and, like, I don't know,
maybe
Arcane Boots is legit on Skeleton King and stuff like that?
It depends how ridiculous and how much I know about the topic. Arcane Boots on Skeleton King, I'd probably be a little more like, I don't know about that one, but I hear that Wisp flute playing in the background. That's almost a pipe of insight out on the EO. And speaking of big items, Big Tony here. BKB, Manta Style, and Ag Scepter, and big items just all around. Black will grab himself the Scythe of Ice and also hit level 16. So, big items on both teams. And what is this Wraith King going for? Does he have
top lane, they're smoke anking them.
Oh.
They need to catch the Wisp first, and then they can kill the rest.
And there's the Wisp. Hoof Stomp, double damage, arrow.
Bye-bye.
I said double damage. I meant to say double edge. It'll be an easy kill on the Wisp.
That's not going to work with the TP. That was terrible from XD, actually. He could have BKB TP. He didn't use BKB.
Instead, he just tried to TP, but he still could possibly make it out.
It's a 10-second BKB. I mean, long time.
Yeah. Dream Coil from the Puck. He turns, throws the Avalanche, but now the BKB June comes in. He's chopping him down. Tiny gets crit for 720. He'll fall. Now the Brewmaster coming in with the ultimate form, trying to do as much damage as he can, but won't have enough to secure any kills. Rubik, he'll get chased down. June, he blinks the wrong way. Oh no, he blinked to the high ground. And now the Rubik, he steals Dream Coil. He steals that Puck ultimate. And he'll throw it out onto the Wraith King. It doesn't matter, though. Hex is back up on Black, and
Forced up.
It's a dead Rubik.
What a shame. What a
Yeah.
shame.
You know, this Rubik has been a pretty big player this game. Dreamy has made some big steals, but unfortunately it just hasn't really translated to a boatload of success.
No. The biggest problem was still they can catch the Wisp, it's fine, but Tiny would have been okay with just BKB TP, but he didn't put his BKB, so we just ended up like he kept running, his team tried to save him, and they just all died. So
Yeah.
that was pretty terrible. That was a very costly mistake. And of course 10-second BKB blow.
Yeah, so that could have been just a 10-second BKB and TP home, or it could have been a 10-second BKB, TP home, death on him, death on his Rubik, and nothing else good coming of it. So you're absolutely right. Shouldn't have been so greedy, and if he had just BKB'd right away, things would be looking a lot different right now. Third Roche, no, this is second Roche, is up. Did they ever actually kill him? No, he didn't respawn. He never died. Oh no, CIS. I thought this was third Roche. I guess not. He has no cheese on him, so.
Shit.
Am I going crazy? Did they?
No, I don't know. Yeah, no, that's the second Roshan. That's fine. Yeah, they only killed him once.
Oh, it was just that first Roche.
Yeah, once when they stole it. Yeah.
Oh right.
We had the Roche attempt from DT, which went wrong, and then CIS like 3 minutes later finished it. So.
Okay, yeah. I guess it was two different attempts. I was thinking it was two Roches in my head, but yeah. Separate instances for the same Roche. Roche number 2 is up now, though, so that will be something that
smoking, but
Victor this next fight. AO,
why would you pop the Manta Slap first?
Yeah.
What?
Now Wraith King, he'll hop in. BKB on. Arrow will be off the mark, but they'll still find a kill onto the Rubik. A crit to finish him off for good measure. Now the rest of the DT, they're on the run. Air, he'll blink to safety, but if the puck had jaunted and dream coiled there, he could have been in a sticky situation perhaps. Nature's Prophet still trying to pressure this bottom lane, slowly whittling down this tower. Black looking for the Nature's Prophet, but won't find him, positioned a little bit too defensively. And in July, just being so annoying here. He's just moving across the lanes. He's got a Shadow Blade and a Crystallis to go with this BKB. An interesting Nature's Prophet build. But it's all about the Rat Dota here. CIS looking for a fight in their jungle. There are some intruders.
They should be on 2 different lanes, though. They shouldn't be on the same lane.
Oh, Nature's Prophet. He could be in trouble. He will get off the Shadow Blade. That keeps him alive, but a close call as June blinks over the tree line.
Black's still chasing, though.
Yeah, Black's not afraid.
He has a gem, but oh, what a nice TP there, just behind the tree, so he didn't have vision.
That is a value tree right there, that little stubby one.
And the thing is, he doesn't even TP back to base, he just goes bot lane and continues pushing. It's so annoying.
Seriously, it's just slowly working him down. And he doesn't have to do crippling damage. That's the thing about it. It costs him basically nothing to do this. It's just mana, and he can work the well into one of those rotations. And there's the Wrath of Nature. And even if he just does a little chip damage to this tower, still not too shabby. Oh, here comes Centaur. Double edge again. He's brave. He doesn't finish off the big return damage creep this time, but still, he didn't learn his lesson. He double edged the Necro units again. You got to be more careful.
I don't know. This guy's really thinking like taking his revenge out on the Necro unit.
Taking out all of that pent-up rage.
I'm not half HP. This time I'm full HP, so I can actually do this. I don't know. I suppose it works.
Yeah.
But both teams are just slowing down the pace of the game, but XTD is making some questionable plays. The one time where he did BKB, the one time where he used Manta first to initiate. I don't know what that was about, but yeah, that was weird. I think if he instantly avalanched, he might have caught AO, but
yeah.
still.
DT had a pretty sizable lead, upwards of about 14,000 gold, and now it's down to 8,000, and there's about a 7,500 experience edge going the way of CIS. So DT are still in pretty good shape. They still have the carry advantage with the Tiny, as well as this Nature's Prophet, who all of a sudden has a Daedalus. He's turning into quite the right clicker, hitting for about 280 a pop without a crit.
It's still not enough, though. He needs more raw damage to actually go off the crit. So he can still sell his Midas and get one more item. One more DPS item.
Yeah, and yeah, Centaur, he's now got a halberd. But they're giving CIS a lot of room to find recovery in this game. DT just move into the Roche pit. Actually, it's just in July soloing it down with his Necro Book and that crit stick. And it doesn't look like CIS are privy to it. They've got a ward down on the high ground, but of course he did TP into the pit, so that doesn't do too much. There's the relocation.
They actually relocated too, and so they kind of give it away.
The Ice Blast, but it'll be too late. Roche falls. Aegis goes the way of Tiny. Inflame actually hops into the pit, and he'll get punished for it. He takes a lot of damage, just managed to force staff to the high ground, so he does survive for now. BKB popped by the Nature's Prophet. Air, he gets left behind. He'll get caught, and they'll have more than enough damage to take him down. Easy kill for CIS, but still DT, they get the Roche, they walk away with the Aegis. I think they still come out ahead on that one.
That was, once again, questionable play. Why would you relocate in to give it away? Like, CIS didn't even know that Prophet was inside the pit. Prophet would have been able to solo it easily.
Well, they wanted the Aegis on Tiny.
Yeah, I mean, fine, you give away the Brewmaster kill once again. I don't know if that's worth it.
Yeah.
The Brewmaster just keeps dying the whole time, and the pick is not working out because he you need one disable on him, basically getting him stunned, and then arrow follow up, and then he dies.
Yeah.
They just have too much disable.
Well, and this is what I don't like about Brew. I think he basically has to be in a solo mid type role. It doesn't necessarily have to be the mid lane, but I think he needs a solo role. He needs that huge experience edge. He needs to pick up kills in the mid game, and he basically needs to snowball out of control. He had a lot of farm priority once he got the Blink Dagger Ags, but after that, he hasn't made any item progression, and he's a hero that he needs items to scale. And he just can't find him. There's a Dagon out now on black. So he'll just go Scythe of Vice straight into the phaser.
Yeah, it's a good choice. It's a good choice. I mean, normally it's fine because Puck is a hero that just doesn't have enough damage late game. So you kind of just build burst items on him. And because of the high mobility of the hero, you can't really kill him. And in the fights, you basically, if you have a Dagon 5, you get like 3 Dagon 5s off in the fight. So it's kind of worth it. It's a good item on Puck. Same as with Tinker, really. So, well, different with Tinker is just he can re-arm Dagon. So.
Wraith King getting scarier, now has the Abyssal Blade to go with that BKB, Armlet, and Blink Dagger. Another 3,000 gold already, and he's about at that point where he's going to have to sell that Hand of Midas and get capped out. BOTs will be coming after that, or no, before that, he'll go BOTs right now and get rid of those power treads. He wants to hang on to that Midas till the bitter end.
He's critting for 1,000 now, so
yeah,
actually deals a lot of damage. The thing is, he's constantly getting new items, while Tiny is he's sitting on the same item as he did like 15 minutes ago, so hasn't changed anything yet. He can still convert the drums into like a butterfly on AC. I think AC is really good.
Yeah, he has 3,600 gold. So
yeah. Still not enough though. I mean, he's actually behind in net worth.
Yeah, Wraith
King. Behind the Skeleton King. So Wraith King, for God's sake.
It's okay. You can call him Skeleton King. Never forget. I'm okay with it.
It's just, I don't know. I have this. Do you remember the one Dota song they made, which was kind of the puppet belts thingy, where they went with the songs King, Skeleton King?
No.
You ever seen it?
I don't think so.
That was actually kind of hilarious, so it just kind of gets stuck in my head.
That's okay. I mean, I still call him Skeleton King because I like to sound like a hipster. But that's it. Uh-oh, Black. He'll orb here, and if they catch him, they will. He won't have anything to jaunt to, but there's an engagement breaking around on the backside. Rubik maybe will be the target of choice. No, Puck survives. Super now. He's in trouble. He'll get finished off by June. That's a dead EO, but it'll cost June his first life. Reincarnation will bring him back up. Inflame, going blow for blow onto the Rubik. Black rejoins the party. They finish off Rubik. It's a 2-0 going the way of CIS. Moonlight Shadow on. Tiny with the BKB. Air still alive. He blinks forward. He finishes off the Wraith King for the second time. And now Centaur, he blinks back. AO, he'll get clicked down by Air. Tiny isolates the Puck off around the backside. That was an awkward team fight. And
it was.
CIS end up not coming out the victors, even though they've picked up the first few kills. They killed the supports, but then the cores of DT just obliterated them.
Yeah, the problem was just XDD. You see, he's behind net worth and Skeleton King, but he still deals a lot more damage than in the team fight.
And Nature's Prophet completely isolating Inflame on that Centaur, doing a lot of damage to him. Won't have enough for the kill. Wraith King does buy back, and now he'll engage up in the top, but to what avail? Tiny just smacking him with the illusions. Puck buys back as well. CIS will probably hold for now, but 2 buybacks burned. Even more convincing win for DT in terms of that team fight.
They needed to use them, though. Otherwise Tiny was just going to take Rex. Look at the damage he did to the Rex. That's absurd. The Tiny isn't even 6 slotted yet. He has 1 slot for the Aegis, 1 for the drums, and then...
One might say he still has room to grow.
Yeah, oh, what a fun. No, sorry for the lack of enthusiasm, but... 1 AC, 1 Daedalus later, and then he's actually gonna just annihilate the whole CIS team. Like, if he hits the main, the hero, he hits Skeleton King, and it's probably the guys behind him just die.
And XTD, he goes straight in on the Skeleton King, but now he's getting crit pretty hard. XTD, he'll take a spill. That's the end of the Aegis. Now the rest of his team joining the party. In July, looking for a ground sprout. Will be off the mark. He gets stunned. Now in July gets dropped. June taking heavy damage, but he has the reincarnation. XTD, he's popped back up. There's the reincarnation. Everyone's slow. June rejoins the battle in flame in full retreat mode on that Centaur. Black, he blinks back to safety as well. There's the combo onto June. They want to take him out for the second time. Do they have the damage, though? Teleport forward from In July. He's back in the party. He bought back. They'll isolate demons. He gets clicked down. Wraith King has also fallen. Rubik, he stole an arrow. Throws it down the middle. Doesn't connect with much, but that's okay. Marana may get clicked down by AO. Black gets finished off. And Marana will make it out. CIS tap out. GG. Well played. And DT will finally seal the deal. 22-21 after 47 minutes of gameplay. It looks like they were going to do it a lot earlier. CIS gave them a run for their money, but in the end, dream time. They seal the deal, and, well, their wildest dreams seem to be coming true here, Slush.
Yeah, just too big to fail, man. Tiny, too big to fail.
Yep.
You just can't do it. He just A-clicks you until you're back in the fountain, basically. This destroys you. It doesn't matter how much farm you have in the Wraith King. You have no possibility of out-carrying this guy. So, yeah, that was, in the end, just... Once again, DT doing the same old style. It's the same thing they do all over again. They pick a lineup that has superior late game, and then they win it. They just play it out perfectly.
Yep, I pretty much agree. CIS looking a little sad after that loss, but they'll have another chance. That was just game 1 of this best of 2, guys. We'll have one more match, our last game for our WPC broadcast tonight. CIS versus DT. We'll see if DT can close it out 2-0 or not. I'm Zyori. With me tonight is Slesh, and we have one more match coming your way after this short break.